watching Twitter's reaction last night when the Heat were up by 13. If you're rooting, are you rooting for the Miami Heat or are you rooting against LeBron James? And if so, why? I understand if you're rooting for the Heat, great Cinderella story, but to root against LeBron James, I'm just curious about the vitriol. I don't know if you dislike him because it's him or the coverage of him, but he has nothing to do with the coverage. And yes, LeBron is the face of the NBA. Like it or not, on the court, off the court. But I saw this with NBC Sports' Dan Feldman. He argues the Lakers have had the easiest road in NBA history to get to the finals. Not including themselves, the Lakers avoided the top 5 teams. The Bucks, Celtics, Clippers, Raptors, and Mavericks all had better margins per game in the playoffs. Okay, so if LeBron gets to the finals in the East, well, he didn't have to go through anybody. Now he goes to the West. He gets to the finals, didn't have to go through anybody. He can't win, even when he's winning. But get ready for it, because that's what's going to happen. That'll be the the twist on this. Yeah, but he didn't really beat anybody. Yeah, but that Clipper team wasn't that good. I still go back to when the Bulls beat the Lakers and Magic Johnson was out there on one leg. I didn't hear anybody say, yeah, but they beat a wounded, depleted Laker team. Nobody said that. But let's see if LeBron can win 3 more games against the Miami Heat. I'm sure he'll take this. If this is the consolation prize, hey, you won a title, but you didn't really beat anybody. I'm sure he'll still take that. But I am surprised. And I know I'm a LeBron apologist. I say that. I think you're seeing one of the 2 or 3 greatest players to ever play the game, to do what he's doing at this age, having 2 full seasons of playoff games, and he's still one of the top 5, 7 players in the game. This is one of those where when he's gone, people are going to look back and go, on second, man, he was pretty good. I remember doing this when John McEnroe would face Bjorn Borg at Wimbledon. And I hated Bjorn Borg because he was better than John McEnroe. It had nothing to do with Bjorn Borg. It was just I wanted McEnroe to win. There were other teams and other players where, I hated the Celtics because they always beat Jerry West and the Lakers. It had nothing to do with the Celtics. And it just feels like we don't want LeBron James entering into a conversation that has to do with the greatest player of all time. And I do believe LeBron will have the greatest basketball resume in history when it's all said and done. Now, I know Bill Russell was wonderful with 11 titles. Statistically, he was not that great. But he did win, the greatest winner. But when it's all said and done, LeBron will have the greatest basketball resume in history. Scoring, assists, steals, rebounds, trips to the finals. If he ends up with 4 or 5 championships, he'll have the greatest resume of anybody who's ever played the game. Wherever you want to put him, if you want to put him in the top 5, unless you're Paul Pierce, who doesn't have him in the top 5, fine. I mean, I'm done arguing just for LeBron. Is LeBron Michael? No, he'll never be, as we've said before. LeBron is Neil Armstrong. He was the first guy to walk on the moon. Nobody talks about the second guy to walk on the moon. And that's what LeBron is up against. But it's going to be hard to find somebody who is the next LeBron. I know we're not going to find the next Michael. You're going to have a hard time finding the next LeBron as well. Email address dp@danpatrick.com. Twitter handle @DP Show. Yes, Paulie?
If this series goes 5 games, LeBron James will be at 259 career playoff games played, tied Derek Fisher for the most ever. Let's say LeBron plays 2 more high-end seasons of basketball. That's 40 more playoff games, assuming all goes well. He'll be at 300 career playoff games played. That's 110 more than Magic Johnson. That's 70 more than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's not even close.
Yeah. Once again, statistically, and yes, he's lost in the finals. We know that 6 times. But he got to the finals. And that first time he went there, that wasn't even a G League team. Those guys wouldn't make a G League team. And he got them to the NBA Finals. But here he is, and he's smart enough to know that Anthony Davis, if I make sure that he is the best player on the floor, then you got a great chance of getting more and more championships because Anthony Davis will eventually take the baton or be given the baton by LeBron, and it'll be his team. And then LeBron will be the Scottie Pippen to Anthony Davis's Michael Jordan. Even then, LeBron is, to be the best teammate he can be, Anthony Davis, you have to make sure that you feed him. You got to make sure he gets into the flow of the game. Let him be dominating. LeBron could be selfish, but he could be, but he won't be because he's smart enough to know that. But that's just what I'm watching. And I know it's only one game, but I'm just curious why people don't like LeBron James. Kathy in Oregon. Kathy, why don't you like LeBron James?
I'm kind of old. I've been watching ball for a lot of years, and I think I don't like LeBron James because I don't agree with the way he's been covered and some of the quotes he's had, and I think I'm wrong. I have always thought that, and I think social media has been kind of a pity because I don't think that and I think a lot of people are like me, don't appreciate the players anymore for the players that they are.
Okay.
And it's really kind of sad.
Well, I can't imagine what Twitter would be like in Michael Jordan's era because they would be reporting on things, talking about things. It would be different. LeBron has survived in the Twitter age, and everybody's a hater. Everybody's got an opinion. And you can do it, and nobody knows who you are. Yes, Eden.
So, that used to be just the columnist or something, right? They would write a scathing piece about so-and-so, but now it's 10,000 columns a minute.
Yeah, everybody's a columnist now. Everybody's got an opinion, and you can say it. But, yeah, I'm just surprised that people, they don't appreciate what they're seeing. And just from a basketball purist, that's why I say, enjoy it. Appreciate this. This doesn't happen. And he's been able to do it and do it at a very high level for a long, long period of time. Larry in Oregon. Hey, Larry.
Hey, how's it going, Dan?
Hey, bud.
I just want to make a comment as far as the Lakers were concerned. Through the beginning of this playoffs, we heard that, after the first win against the first win that Blazers had against L.A., the Lakers might get swept, and, the backcourt of McCollum and Lillard's going to be a lot to handle. And then the next round we hear, it's going to be a lot to handle, Westbrook and Harden. The next round we got Jokic and Murray. That's going to be a lot to handle. And for someone to say now that it was the easiest path to the finals is just ridiculous to me because you can only beat who's in front of you, and that's it. And I know a lot of it probably has to do with the fact that LeBron is not as loved as much as some other people.
Yeah, you know what? And thank you, Larry. LeBron's been a better teammate than Michael was. LeBron, in what he's done as an activist, as a person, is far greater than what Michael did. If you're going to compare the two, Michael's not embraceable. LeBron's more embraceable. But people still, with what you saw with Michael, and you love Michael, and the documentary came out, reinforced everything about Michael, although it reinforced some negative things as well. But people look past that. But I know I get defensive with LeBron, but it's just because I've seen him from his high school days, watched a high school game in person. He was a great football player. And maybe it's a Ohio thing as well, but I just think everything he's been through, single parent, and he's been amazing. He's made mistakes, but everything is played out right in front of us. Kobe said he was taking his talents to the NBA as a high school player. Nobody said anything about that. LeBron's people, maybe it's the decision. I had a problem with the decision because I had a problem with the way it was handled by ESPN. They should have asked LeBron the question to start that show. And then get the reaction after that. That's the story. LeBron, where are you going? I'm taking my talents to South Beach. Okay, let's bring in Pat Riley, who joins us now. Let's get local reaction from Cleveland. If they did that, then I think people would have been a little bit nicer, softer on LeBron. But he didn't build this up. That's what ESPN said to Jim Gray to do. It wasn't LeBron. LeBron didn't go, hey, you got to drag this out, man. That's what you do. But look at what LeBron did. LeBron's the first NBA player, one of the first athletes ever to say, and I go back to Curt Flood, with the reserve clause, and he didn't want to be, held like somebody was an owner to him and say, you can't go where you want to go. And Curt Flood fought baseball because of that. LeBron said, you can go where you want to go. You should be able to play where you want to play. He empowered athletes. He gave them a stage. He got an hour's worth of programming from ESPN. Didn't pay for it. They gave him an hour. Now we see athletes all the time taking control of social media. Tiger's done this. Go down the list of athletes who've done, Tom Brady's done this. LeBron ushered that in. He empowered athletes. He got involved. Put his money where his mouth is. I don't know why I'm defending him.
You're sensing you're like in advance
coming.
of the criticism.
Yes, it's coming.
It would be kind of fun if the Heat won the next 3 games. Injured, depleted.
Yeah.
Like Kelly Olynyk goes for a 28-12.
But if LeBron had lost a 3-1 lead like Kawhi did, that would still be the topic now, even during the NBA Finals. Has LeBron lost it? Not a leader? How could that happen? Michael would never do that. He makes it look easy with what he did last night. But now, Miami Heat aren't any good. They were good when they beat the Bucks, right? They were good when they beat the Celtics, right? And then you had media people who were trying to be contrarians, and they're going, I'm going to take the Miami Heat. I love the Heat. I've watched more Heat games than probably anybody other than true Miami Heat fans. I'm Mr. Heat. I bring the heat. Heat's my favorite movie.
Fired up.
Yeah. But the Lakers are a better team because of LeBron and Anthony Davis. Plain and simple.